Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to those of you that are returning, and welcome to my new listeners. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you take away at least one nugget from today's episode and that you share it with someone else. Well, today I'm talking about a subject that is important, that doesn't often get as much airtime, if you will, as it could. And it's been coming up a lot with clients and friends lately. And that is trust in our gut, trusting that intuition. So, how many of you, don't have to raise your hand, but just acknowledge, have ever had that feeling of, yep, I knew I should have listened to my gut. I knew I should have trusted my intuition. Something has happened and you felt a certain way in your heart and soul, gut, intuition. You knew that this way was the way that you should have gone, or that felt right, and you didn't. And then upon reflection, either not too long afterwards, during, or many years later, you reflected on, yes, I knew that. I felt that and I didn't trust it. It is very, very common. And it is very common, especially in women, that because we feel so much pressure, external pressure to fulfill stereotypical roles and feel pressured by society, by communities, by family to be a certain way, to show up in a certain way, we will oftentimes disconnect that deep knowing from ourselves. What I'm here to remind you today is that it never goes away. Your intuition, your gut knowing is always right there. Oftentimes, we're moving at lightning speed with 100,000 things on our minds. We high achieving women are the worst at slowing down sometimes. We have very big goals. We have very long to-do lists, if you will. And what part of my work is to help us remember that we are also human. We also get to live full and complete lives. We get to be present for those lives, and we get to experience joy while doing it. Who would have thought, right? Yes, we do. Every single day, get to feel joy, get to be present, get to slow down. So the one of the things with intuition is we have to be in our bodies to really connect to it. If we're in our heads all of the time, which many of us are, planning the next thing, plotting this completion of this thing, we don't always remember to slow down and embody the presence of the moment. And that is step one of really connecting to that intuition. So I am going to ask you to think about that. Like, do you notice a connection between when you are more intentional and present and in a slowered down mode? And when you're there, do you feel that sense of connection to your intuition more often or more clearly? Because sometimes it's there and it's in the background and it's not a fearful kind of panicky, anxiety ridden feeling, right? That typically is just that, fear and anxiety. Intuition speaks quietly. It's calm. And that's part of the reason why we need to be slowed down and present in our body to really access it in the most prevalent way, in the easiest way, if you will. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to think about the last time that you remembered that you did not pay attention, that you ignored your intuition or your gut feeling. Take a minute and remember the last time you did that and how you felt about it afterwards. And then remember the last time you trusted your intuition or your gut feeling and how that felt on the other side of it. And if it's been a long time for either of those, I hear that too. So I'm going to encourage you to get quiet when you can. If you can, when you're listening to this or just afterwards, that's great. If not, another time. And just lean into that full bodied presence of who you are. Do a little grounding activity or something that pulls you into your body, reminds you of your physicality. And ask a question, lean into something that you are curious about. And if you don't get an intuitive response right away, don't worry about it. Go about your business and trust that it will come. And notice when it things do come to you as you're going about your day randomly, air quotes around randomly, things come to you and it may not be related to what you're working on in the moment, and it is related to something going on in your life. So be present and pay attention to those things because they really do serve you. And they remind you and us, all of us, that we can trust ourselves. And one of the most important things in living a life that you love and, leading a business that you love in a community that you love, overall, just loving your life is being present and knowing what fills you up. And intuitively, we're drawn to things sometimes that don't make logical sense. So while we are in this state of exploration in life and always being present to new and joyful opportunities and ideas and connections and collaborations, lean into that. Follow those breadcrumbs and those nuggets along the way that may lead you to something unexpected. One of the things that I find common in those of us that lose connection to our intuition is the belief that we have to control everything. And underlying that belief that we have to control everything is that we actually have control over all of the things. And I know many of you are laughing at that because number one, we ultimately don't have control. And number two, you're resonating with it. And again, it feels like the high achieving women that we are, that is a consistent through line in all of our personalities, right? It's kind of like that old school thinking, like we didn't get where we are by doing nothing and got to have all of this control or perceived control to make it happen. And, some of that is true. We do have to have structure, we do have to have goals, and we do need to live into those. And we also need to loosen the reins a little bit. Dare I say surrender, which, not always a popular word. I know I have a lot of feelings around that, especially when I first started doing deep work around this. Like surrender, like, are you kidding me? Like, give control to somebody else? Yeah, all of the things. Ultimately, as we all know, we don't have a lot of control. And when we surrender, or if you don't like that word or that vision, open up, right? Because when we're controlling and we're focused and we're shutting down that connection or narrowing that connection to intuition, we are limiting the possibilities because we're only seeing things in a certain way. Like we have these goals and this vision of what we want, and we're creating little stories and little pathways about how it's supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen. When we let go of that and we open up to the possibility by recognizing that we ultimately do not have the control and either surrendering or at least opening up to bigger possibilities and other possibilities, really connects us to the potential that's out there for all of us. It's out there for all of us. It is the energy, it's the source, it's the quantum, if you will. And if we put false parameters around things by way of control and only seeing things happen in a specified way or plan, we miss out on so much goodness. Number one, we miss out on the joy and beauty that's right here in front of us because we're so focused on the finish line that we're missing the here and now. We don't hear our intuition again because we're so focused on the finish line and the way that we think it should be. When our intuition is saying, hey, like, notice this, notice that, what about that? And life is presenting you with one beautiful and joyful opportunity after another, and you're just not seeing it. Secondly, being aware and present and open provides opportunities, right? Not only do we get to see them because we are not locked into how they're supposed to happen, the letting go of the holding on, right? The narrowing of the parameters and the tunnel vision. By letting go of that, the space opens up in our worlds, in our personal worlds, in our collective worlds, to have things show up in different ways, have different things show up, give us new opportunities to grow, new opportunities to do things in a different way that might get us to the goal that we are seeking or a different goal that we didn't know that we were seeking. That's much better because we're unlimited at that point. We don't limit it by what we see. And our intuition plays into that as well, right? When we are open and not narrowly focused and not tight and in our head all the time, intuition is right there waiting. It's right there waiting for us. There's that still small voice within every single one of us that's speaking. And it's asking, are you able to listen? Are you available to hear me? Because if you are, I have some goodness to share with you. So I'm going to encourage you in the next couple of weeks to really pay attention to that, to slow down long enough to even assess it. Am I listening to my intuition? Is my intuition, quote, on? And the answer is yes, it always is. And spoiler alert, it doesn't go away. It just takes a moment for you to realign and a moment to realign, and it's there for you. So I'm going to encourage you to keep the channels open to yourself, to your intuition, and to the possibilities that await. Because taking our foot off the gas pedal and the white knuckling behind the steering wheel because we think we're in control, that is what's going to make the difference. Just letting it go. I'm not saying that you don't need structure. I'm saying that you need to have a little bit of capacity for something bigger than us. That you need to have capacity and that there's something bigger than you and open up to the possibilities. I wish you all big love and a week and a life of connectedness to your intuition and to endless possibilities. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends. Please share it on socials. Reach out and let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, follow, all of the things. Help me get into the earbuds and the cars of people, of women that need to hear this, that want to hear this. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you, thank you, thank you for taking your time and listening to me. Have an amazing week.